Tyler is out delivering presents, and Cole, Pete is peeved, and Joseph brings a new game to the show.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimbley to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates. Welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
And I'm Peter.
And no Tyler over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is out being Santa.
Yeah, he's doing his best Black Peter impression against our advice. He thinks he got the pass, and now he can just say whatever he wants.
Yeah. He's out delivering those last minute gifts, those expedited shipments of clothes and
Tchotchkes,
international deliveries.
Garbage, just junk in general.
Yeah, just future trash.
Pretty much.
So he's doing out the heavy lifting. You know, he's part of that.
The capitalist machine.
Yeah, exactly. He's the cog.
Yeah,
one of them anyway.
If you don't know by now, Tyler works for DHL.
Yeah.
He delivers packages, and he hates it. He says he loves it, but every time we talk to him, he
every
says
week
he hates it.
You know, it's been a hard week, hard week of work.
It's tough, and then he implores everybody to stop ordering things online.
You know, maybe
put him out of work.
DHL employees should go on strike as well.
Yeah, maybe.
But other than that, welcome everybody else on YouTube Live and in podcast land and with the OG classmates who are audio only. We encourage you to go video as well.
Yeah.
It helps us.
I know sometimes if you're like driving in the car, it doesn't make sense to watch the YouTube. So I get that. But if you haven't ever checked out the YouTube page, it's fun. You get to actually see what we look like and go,
if you're curious about that.
Oh, that's what Joseph looks like. Oh, that's what Pete looks like.
Oh,
I thought
I'll go back to audio.
Yeah. Wow, I can see the grease dripping.
Yeah.
On Tyler.
We are actually just incels.
Yeah, it's true.
We don't leave this room. But yeah, here we are on the.
Are we doing flannel talk right now?
I guess so.
We had bagel pod. Now we have flannel pod.
Yeah, it's another benefit of watching it visually. You can see what we're wearing.
Yeah.
Or not wearing.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's for Middle Class After Dark.
Yeah, for the Patreon only. We are in our flannel uniforms for this week.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, the week of Christmas. It's here. Like, it's already here.
Well, it's the 22nd, so when this goes live,
it'll be the 23rd.
This part will be the 23rd.
Yes.
And then the second half, when we review Paul Blart Mall Cop, the Christmas classic.
It'll be our Christmas gift to everybody.
Yes, it'll be on Christmas Day.
Yeah, you can skip your family celebrations.
The kids are like, Santa's here. And the dad's like, shut the fuck up.
I'm listening to him.
I got to listen to the new podcast. Hey, it's Tyler. Tyler's in the chat.
I thought you were working.
Yeah. What are you doing, Tyler?
You turn me down. I feel like I'm a little hot.
Yeah, I feel like we're both hot for some reason. Yeah, they turned the volume down a little bit. How about that?
That's
better?
Yes.
Okay. We also had some technical stuff on the actual board. It started freaking out on us.
Yeah, there was an update.
And then when the update happened, all our audio was all jacked up. So if we sound different, we like on the fly, we're trying to like remove all the processing and undo all the good stuff that Rodecaster was trying to do to us.
Yeah.
And then I unplugged the power cord right before we started rolling. So my bad.
It's all good. It's everybody's kind of checked out in this part of the year. I feel like the last two, in terms of working and just priorities, have shifted.
Should we even talk about movies this episode?
Yeah, I don't know.
Should we play Super Meat Boy in Minecraft?
Yeah, just bring up the Switch and we'll cast it and you just watch us gab about mining and
you play Super Meat Boy.
Yeah,
I'll do Minecraft and we can have our
have two screens.
Screens going. Like Subway Surfer. Tyler be playing Subway Surfer.
Point our cameras to the screens.
Yeah, exactly. I have the interface.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because Brianna does. When she plays Animal Crossing, she'll record her village or her little town or whatever.
Yeah,
and then make little YouTube videos and upload them.
Nice.
Or she'll do tours of other people's villages. They'll invite them to their island, and she goes around and takes the tour from them. And it's like, oh, this is cute. Look at this.
This one sucks.
Yeah. She comes out and is like, I don't like this one at all. I am offended.
But But yeah, here we are, and we are going to talk about movies. Movies that we watched, Christmas movies, maybe one in particular.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Find some charity, you lad. Now's the time for gab and chatter.
Gab and chatter, movie news, movie-related things to discuss. There's only two of us here, so
yeah.
Pete, let's make it. We can extend our
make it count.
Time a little bit.
Yeah,
Pete, what do you have?
A couple things I wanted to talk about. We have a new Superman trailer out, the James Gunn Superman universe, and it's interesting. It's got Crypto the dog in it.
Crypto,
and that dog is cute. That is a cute looking dog. I feel like that's going to put more butts in seats than probably Superman himself.
Probably.
Did you see the trailer?
I did watch it.
It looks like a comic book. It looks like Goofy. You know what I mean?
It looks silly.
It looks silly.
It looks vibrant.
Yeah,
very vibrant.
It's like highly exposed sort of colors, highly saturated colors, however you want to say that.
I mean, the man is red and blue,
and he's wearing the trunks.
Yes,
he's wearing like basically the
underwear.
Shorty underwear swim trunks,
the red tidy whities.
Yeah, and red boots too.
Yeah,
like actual like leatherish boots, which I appreciate. That I like that they're going a little bit back to the original, and then Nathan Fillion with that dumbass bowl cut.
I know,
true to the comic. Also,
yeah,
I don't know who that character is, but
I think he's Green Lantern.
He's a Green Lantern. He's one of
the lanterns.
He's one of the lanterns
that are green.
He's an Emerald Lantern.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was like it definitely was felt like goofy, and which I'm kind of like I feel like that's a good change of pace because every fucking superhero movie feels dark as shit now. But I don't know if it looked good. You know?
Yeah. There was the way the movie looks shot. It looks like a TV show more than a movie. Because there was like some exterior day shots that just looked like I don't know. It didn't look
cinematic.
Yeah, whatever that means, cinematic.
Sure.
You know, it didn't look good. I guess.
Yeah, I guess
it looked like we were just outside at noon. You know, when the sun is right above us and the shadows are like right below your nose and you got the neck shadow from your chin. It just didn't. I don't know. And then like the wide, there's a lot of wide angles that they used, and it did scream like it was just gonna go straight to CW. The way, like it's gonna be like the Flash show or the Arrow show.
Oh yeah.
And James Gunn he's done a lot of stuff of more of the violent nature. The last comic book movie he did, I believe, was Suicide Squad, correct? Or Guardians 3.
Guardians 3, and think we're in Suicide Squad. I can't remember which came first, but right around the same time.
Yeah, and The Suicide Squad was a really fun movie and was really, really violent.
Yeah.
And then Peacemaker from that
was really violent.
Also really fun.
Super hard R.
And also really violent.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of taken a turn, I guess. And it didn't look violent.
Well, we'll see.
And Superman's kind of more of like, I feel like a wholesome superhero.
He's supposed to embody like all the greatest traits of a quote unquote American. Like the prototypical American is Superman.
This alien.
This illegal alien came here illegally without permission.
I will say that he looks like the best Clark Kent.
He's very good
version of Clark. He looks like a bumbling dork.
I'm gonna watch it. And more for James Gunn than anything because I didn't see Man of Steel until it was foisted upon us. And I watched it then, and I thought it was good, I guess. But
I enjoyed. I still enjoy Man of Steel like a lot.
I think Cavill is just a fantastic Superman, but I just don't have a huge connection with the character, so I don't really care, honestly. Like Christopher Reeve, I don't.
This movie definitely feels more like it's in line with those Supermans.
Yeah, the original ones.
In terms of the tone.
The Richard Donner ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But yeah.
Interesting trailer. And then another trailer for 28 Years Later, directed by Danny Boyle again.
Danny Boyle.
Written by Alex Garland again.
Yes.
The Dream Team is back at it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that they got stuck on that naming convention.
Yeah.
28 weeks, 28.
Yeah. The next one is going to be like Jason X in space. It's 28 millenniums later, centuries later.
And they already have the second one announced. Or the fourth one.
Fourth one? Really?
Yeah, it's going to come out in 2026.
What?
Yes.
They shot 2 at the same time?
It's a different director.
Oh.
It's not Danny Boyle.
That's weird.
But
Okay.
it's like 28 years later.
Again.
It's almost like a spin-off.
Okay. So it's set in the same timeline as this upcoming movie?
I believe so.
Just in a different part of the world?
There's a subtitle for it. Like, it's called like The Bone Shrine or something like that. Because you didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Or you didn't watch all of it. There's a shot of like these skulls mounted up in like a pile, almost like a shrine or an idol,
Okay.
or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume it has something to do with like maybe there's a faction in the 28 years later universe that did that.
Oh, interesting.
It looks very cultish or ritualistic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the 28 years later trailer was probably one of the coolest trailers that I've seen in a while.
I just turned the sound deadening off again because
okay.
it's doing weird things. It's like peaking super hard.
Yeah.
So
now I sound.
I know, now we sound sultry.
Yeah. We're doing it live.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We're gonna be. Well, you can tell us if you like the first 5 minutes or the
the last
50 minutes.
Yeah. But that trailer, it's set to this poem.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Called, it's like an old marching, like for the military poem, and it's read by an actor from like the 40s or 30s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really creepy, especially put with obviously music and edited and embellished further with the editing of the trailer. But it's like really, really unsettling.
Yeah.
And this actor's delivering it in such a passionate way that it's really effective. And it's a really cool trailer. I just hope the movie now lives up to the trailer because it was a really, really good.
I mean, between the two of them, Garland and Danny Boyle.
Yeah. I haven't seen 28 Weeks Later in so long. I've only watched it once.
It holds up. It's good.
And I've only watched it at the drive-in.
Oh, wow. The first 5 minutes or so is hard to live up to.
The intro.
It's really good. And what I've heard is that Danny Boyle directed that scene because the second movie is not directed by Boyle. It's directed by like his protege or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, but supposedly Boyle stepped in and directed that and helped oversee the editing of it or whatever because it's fucking effective. Robert Carlyle abandoning his wife.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I get him confused with
Jason Fleming?
No, the guy who played Abomination in Incredible Hulk. Tim Roth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see it.
28 Years Later sequel, The Bone Temple. That's what it's called. Gets January 2026 release. That's what it's called.
Wow. Okay.
The Bone Temple.
Well, for now we just have 28.
That's what I call my bedroom.
That's what they call it. Kids calling it now.
Welcome to the Bone Temple, baby.
Legends of the Hidden Temples spin-off series.
What if it was called the Boner Temple? What was it called that?
I think
About to have the hardest.
It's a little on the nose, I think. But yeah, anyways, the trailer, I watched like 30 seconds of it and was like, I'm out because I'm so into the movie.
And you got Aaron Taylor Johnson and Ray Fiennes.
Yep,
is in it. And
there's a couple other names in there.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go in as blind as I possibly can.
Look like Last of Us for a second because he has a bow and arrow.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, that's pretty cool. That's gonna be exciting. So 2 upcoming interesting movies had trailers just dropped this week. And then my discussion I had was I wanted to get your take, Joseph, on movie tropes that you're tired of. I found a discussion on Reddit that has some really interesting, very ultra modern ones. There's things that bother me for trope wise, like one thing that I really do love is when a character is saying, "No way, I'm not going on the helicopter. You can't pay me enough to get on the helicopter. Not happening." Smash cut, they're on the helicopter. It cracks me up every time. I don't know why that gets me. It's so dumb. It's so tropey. So that's one that works for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think like a trope that really doesn't work for me. Let's see. I know it's for continuity. It's more for like brevity and editing purposes, but I hate when people pick up the phone and just start talking. I hate when people like end the conversation and don't say anything. It's like, I'd rather them just cut to the next scene without having them put the phone down
Oh,
if they were going to do that.
yeah.
But that irritates the shit out of me for some reason, and I have no. It's such a small thing.
Like they don't begin or end a conversation properly.
Correct. Yeah. It instantly makes me feel like, oh, I'm in a movie. But
yeah.
Bigger version though, 555. Fucking hate it. The 555 phone numbers.
Oh yeah.
That's the worst, absolute worst, and we'll talk about that in Paul Blart.
Oh yes, 555. Oh,
1076.
That reminds me of Dumb and Dumber when he's at the gas station
Uh-huh.
and he's like, "Just tell me the number, I'll remember it." and his foot's on fire, and
Give me the fucking number.
she goes 555, and he goes 555, and he's like on fire.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Which is she must be dumb as well, because how do you not see that he's on fire?
Yeah, for real.
I guess similar to that in terms of tropes is like it's like it's like a couple setting up a date or a first date or something, and neither of them exchange information as to what time they're going to get picked up.
Yeah.
Or
Oh yeah.
Where-
How
like-
about Friday night?
okay,
All right, we'll see you there.
all right, that's it.
You know the spot and time.
You know, I mean, they're leaving it up to us. They're like, oh, they went through the semantics after that we didn't see of like the time and pickup and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's like kind of almost a lot of that kind of stuff that bothers me. I mean, it doesn't like bother me. It just is annoying sometimes. I don't get too hung up on that kind of stuff. It's kind of hard for me to think of specific tropes in movies. I think there's a lot of like Marvel jokes but it's more like just the type of writing for the comedy that they and the delivery of the jokes.
Give me an example.
Like
Like you're just talking about like a shitty joke from a villain.
it's more just like it's hard for me to think of like or pinpoint an exact example, but it's more like I guess something like I'm trying to like just like come up with something in my head like an exaggerated version of it of
Well, you think of that, I got some tropes. These are from the if you're not on subscribing to Reddit movies subreddit, there's a lot of junk in there, a lot of like really terrible takes and stuff. But then there's some pretty fun discussions, which makes me start thinking. And this is one of them. It's like, what's a modern film take that irritates you? Not killing the villain when the opportunity presents itself and the reasons are solid. It just pads the tension in the runtime. It's so frustrating when you see somebody and you're like, this person murdered 100 people, and they're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But then again, when Anakin did it, he turned into a Sith, so maybe it's justified to not kill the villain.
Yeah, I think it's like, oh, another one that actually that bothers me a lot is when it's like an action movie and there's that kind of like you have the two rivalry, like they're not rivals like enemies in the movie, but it's like you have a man and a woman and they like don't get along, right?
Okay,
and it's like there's like some tension there.
Oh, like professional rivals, kind of?
Like sexual tension.
Yeah, they're kind of on the same team, but they hate each other.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
They really just want to take it to the bone temple.
Yeah, and eventually, the story unravels, and they get to the point in the story where it's like there's, it's obvious they're starting to like one of them is starting to come around on the other one.
Come around or come on.
Yeah, and then, exactly.
Come in.
And then there's like a time sensitive situation happening, and then they decide to like go in for a kiss. I'm like,
Oh,
there's no
God.
fucking time for this right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty bad.
There's no time to confess your love to each other right now.
But if not, then when? What if they died?
What's more important?
I've always loved you.
If the
571.
stakes are like this bus full of kids is gonna die, I got to make sure I get a kiss in.
All right, here's another one. Conflicts between because of obviously poor communication or patience, like hugging another girl and the wife sees him, but it turns out it's just his sister. Mm-hmm. And the first person says, I can explain. And the other person just walks away instead of spending 30 seconds listening to the person.
Yeah.
I hate that. It's such bad writing too.
Yeah. The one person assumes something is happening.
Yeah.
When it didn't happen at all.
When a literal single sentence could explain it. Mm-hmm. It would be different if the person had like lost all credulity, like they have no faith in what they say anymore. They've lied the entire movie. And then all of a sudden they're trying to say, oh, that was actually my sister. Oh, I got hit by a car. It's like big fat liar. It would be different if they set that up in the movie. And then they said, "Oh, it's just my sister." Yeah, I'll believe that when the pigs fly or whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's like relationship comedies and relationship dramas. It's a lot of the plot hangs on that really shitty, convenient misunderstanding.
Yeah, and it's one person just like not willing to hear the other person, and when it's like in reality, it doesn't happen like that. I mean, I know you have to suspend your disbelief for these kinds of things, but it's like, I don't know, a simple explanation would just clear everything up and there would be no conflict.
Absolutely.
Thus, there would be no movie.
Yeah. A lot of this boils down to just, why are they doing this? Well, we wouldn't have a movie if otherwise.
Yeah.
But you could do better in the writing realm to make it make more sense.
Make it more believable.
Here's another one. Villains from children movies like 101 Dalmatians requiring an entire prequel movie to show how misunderstood the villain is.
Oh, yeah.
Like Cruella.
Yeah. When they made the first one, the 101 Dalmatians, there was no like, well, in like 30 years, there's gonna be a prequel that's gonna explain her actual intentions and how she got to be how she is. When in reality, it's like that wasn't the plan at all. They just made a person who's not a good person.
I know. They're like, wow, she wants to skin 101 puppies to make a coat for herself.
Yeah.
That's about as scummy as it gets. And genocide.
Yeah.
It's like basically puppy genocide.
When like nowadays, like a compelling villain, like a Thanos or something, where it's like his motives are like, bring balance to the universe, and we have to get rid of half of existence to do that. It's like the intentions are like, well, maybe he's kind of making some sense here, but obviously the method to get to that point is all this half of existence has to die. It's like, that's what makes it a bad thing. If someone is just a bad person and then they're also racist or something.
Yeah. That's always funny to me that there's always a line there. Like the villain can't also be racist or can't also like abuse animals, or something like that. That's a line too far.
It's like,
I murdered 100 people, but I can't use the N-word.
Yeah, I draw the line.
See, Tyler can only do one of those things.
Yeah, at a time.
Yeah,
I draw the line on ableism. Okay, I have a relative actually.
The Penguin though is the exception to that. Have you seen the series yet?
No.
It's really great. I have to say, it's really fantastic. And the whole time you're basically seeing this backstory, how he's like a sympathetic villain. And yes, he's misunderstood. And yes, he's got like a crook with a heart of gold sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But the way the whole thing wraps up, you're like, I mean, how are they going to tie this together? Do you want us to root for the Penguin? And then ultimately you're like, nope.
Oh, I see.
No, you don't. By the end, they do a fucking fantastic job of it.
He commits a hate crime.
Exactly. He uses the N-word. But then, like you said, the villain who is misunderstood, or you see the reasoning behind their intentions. Thanos is a good example, but also Ed Harris from The Rock. He's basically like a mercenary. He was a soldier whose government abandoned him and his troops. And he's like, I just want them to be remembered. He never had any intentions of killing the people.
Yeah.
It's the guys that he hired for the job that did. So it really, he plays that part so fucking well.
Yeah, their justification for doing what they're doing is understandable, but obviously what they're doing is not necessarily a good thing. I mean, we have a real life person that's going through it right now.
Yeah.
But
any other ones you can think of?
Tropes?
Yeah. That irritate you? It doesn't have to be something modern.
I mean, it's hard to think of any, to be honest, because I don't, it's like something that you see a lot, but you don't necessarily think about. A lot, at least I don't like that much.
You don't put it in your pocket to save for later.
Yeah.
Where the protagonist sees a bad guy, clears day across a busy street, and then a bus goes by and the villain mysteriously disappears completely.
Yeah.
That's always fun. I like that one. I think it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I mean, the classic comedy one is like someone just they're arguing with somebody, and like in Mean Girls when she gets hit by the bus.
Yeah,
that happens. I feel like, I mean, not Talented Mr. Ripley. The one with Brad Pitt, Meet Joe Black.
Oh yeah, Meet Joe Black.
I feel like
Mean Girls.
And then scary movie.
Final Destination.
Yeah. In Paul Blart, there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
At least there's one. When he's the dopey security guard, and he sees the hot booth worker.
Yeah.
And he's like on his Segway. And like when me and Deanna were watching it, I know we're kind of getting into the movie now, but just a little foreshadow or preview. When he's ogling her on a Segway,
You know he's gonna hit something.
and I'm like, Deanna, he's gonna run into a fountain, a pole.
I thought it was a fountain too.
or something.
I thought it was gonna be a fountain.
And it's like, because it's like you're just focusing on him. He's moving
Yeah.
in a mall with people. Yeah, he's gonna crash into a crowd of people or something.
Mhm.
His boss, and
It's the shot editing and the shot composition.
yeah,
It's almost like
it's
when-
tracking him.
When you're watching a person in a driving, having a conversation in a car, and then the camera angle gets to a very specific angle and camera shot, and you're
Yeah,
like,
something's gonna happen here.
I think they're gonna get T-boned. I think they're gonna get crashed into right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that happened. I mean, driving scenes in movies where like
Oh, this.
yeah. I mean, the coffee cups thing where it's like there's nothing in the cup, and you
Yeah.
can see how like there's no weight to it.
Yeah.
In cups and stuff.
Mine's always been, I mean, I've said it to death though, of car stuff. Burning out in gravel. Oh, it's so stupid.
Like the sound?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can't burn out unless it's like asphalt or concrete or pavement or something like that. Like
You would just be shooting gravel.
you would be spinning. Yeah. The debris would be flying out it wouldn't be making the noise of the burnout.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Not really a trope, but like bad ADR.
Oh God.
in movies.
That's rough.
One of the worst. It's funny. One of the worst versions of ADR is like in a movie. Is like in one of my favorite movies,
Oh, yeah.
and that we reviewed, Children of Men. There's one scene when he goes on the bus with Julianne Moore, and there's like one small segment where the ADR is like god awful.
Really?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Interesting.
And I live with that.
It's a single stain on a perfect blameless lamb.
I know.
No, that's all I got though. Listeners, if you have any like tropes that really irritate you, please send them in. mcfcpodcast@gmail.com. You can also go on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Comment on one of our posts. Comment on this week's post. Hit us up on Twitter. Whatever you like.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I don't really have any news, but I brought a game which I don't recall if we've played it on here before.
Okay.
I feel like we have. There's no name for it, but basically what's going to happen is one of us we're going to start with a movie title.
Okay.
Well, one of us will name a movie.
Okay.
The next person has to name an actor from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next person has to name a different movie with that actor in it. And then it goes back to naming a different actor from that movie that was just named.
So it's like actor, movie, actor, movie, actor, movie.
Yes, but you can't just say the same actor in the same movie over and over again.
Now, the inherent problem with not having Tyler here is that when we do this, everything I'm going to name is a movie. Everything you name is going to be an actor.
Yeah, so it's just the same thing over and over again.
And we'll switch off. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
What's the goal?
Just go to go as long as possible.
I'm going to try to stump you.
I mean, it's not. It's.
I'm going to be like, I'm going to name a 1960s movie that one actor in,
but
Aubrey Hepburn, and then I'll name another 1960s movie that she's in, and you couldn't tell another one. Another actor from it.
I mean, you can try.
I won't do that. I won't do that.
There was another game we talked about off air last week that we kind of got with the mind meld game, where we try to land on the same movie, which we did end up doing. It took a minute.
We can do that one if you want. I mean, you could do it. Whatever you want.
Let's start with this first
okay.
one.
All right, let's do it.
So go ahead, name a movie. It's got to be fast.
Children of Men.
Children of Men. Clive Owen.
Shoot 'em up.
Monica Bellucci.
Beetlejuice.
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega. I had it blanking on everything she's ever been in. That A24 unicorn movie.
That's coming out?
It's coming out. That hasn't come out yet.
I don't even know anybody else that's in that movie.
What else? What other movies has Jenna Ortega been in?
Wasn't she in a Scream movie?
Oh, fuck yeah. I like Scream 6.
I also don't know who else is in that.
Jack Quaid. All right, so we failed there. Okay.
Yeah, we suck.
So that was good. That was five in a row, 6 in a row. So go ahead and name a movie.
Name a movie.
I like the pace though. Keep it fast paced.
Titanic.
Kate Winslet.
Revolutionary Road.
I have never heard of that movie. All right, start again. Do Titanic.
Titanic.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Revolutionary Road.
What? You son of a bitch. All right, Titanic.
You're Titanic?
No, you say Titanic.
Titanic.
Yeah. Billy Zane.
The Phantom.
Fuck. I don't know anybody on that movie. What are you doing? I thought we were supposed to make this as long as possible.
Titanic. Just do Leonardo.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Inception.
Tom Hardy.
Venom.
I haven't seen Venom. You're really good at this. Or maybe I'm really bad at this. Give me something else. I don't know. I've never seen Venom. Bronson? Fuck. Maybe Stephen Graham?
No.
I don't. I couldn't tell you a single person. That's one of those movies.
Lawless.
Shia LaBeouf.
Honey Boy.
Jacob Tremblay? Is that who that is? That plays this kid?
No. Who plays the older version of that kid?
Oh fuck! I couldn't tell you his name. Aaron Taylor Johnson. What is
I
that
thought
guy's
we were
name?
supposed to know movies.
I know. Who is that guy?
Lucas Hedges.
That's it. I can never remember his name. I think of like Garden instead of Hedges.
Oh, okay.
Lucas Garden.
All right, name a movie.
There Will Be Blood.
Obviously, I know one person who's in it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other people who are in it. But I can't think of their names. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay. Let's do Daniel Day-Lewis. Last of the Mohicans?
Shit.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Especially if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. David Midthunder's in it.
Who's his brother in There Will Be Blood? Or his legend?
Ooh, I never remember his name.
Benny.
Benny, whatever his name is. There's also Paul Dano.
Ah, yeah, Paul Dano.
There's also who else is in that? I don't think there's any other named actors I can think of from that movie. It's weird when you have such a big, well-known movie and you can only name two people from it.
Yeah, because
off the top of your head.
Okay.
These are good stumpers.
Yeah. I'll go easy. Dune Part 1.
Oh wow, what an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Okay. Dune Part 1. How about Oscar Isaac?
The Card Counter.
Card Counter. Okay. Willem Dafoe.
Spider-Man.
First one?
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst.
Bring It On.
Ooh, Gabrielle Union.
Ooh.
Be very careful what you say next. Gabrielle Union.
I'm just like, I don't know. I would just be like assuming movies that she would
I
be
know.
in.
I would if it was my pick, I'd pick Neo Ned, that Nazi movie.
Oh, is she in that?
She's the female lead. She's the romantic lead against.
I've definitely. I want to. Not White Chicks. She's not on White Chicks.
I've only seen half of that with Brianna.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like she's in Girls Trip. Like what?
Is she?
It's like a spin-off of Barbershop or something like that.
Girls Trip?
I think so. I think that's the name of it.
I'm just gonna look up Gabrielle Union.
Okay.
I feel like she's in like TV shows. Oh, Bad Boys.
Oh yeah, he's what's the name? Daughter. No, my sister. Martin Lawrence's sister.
Yeah, Bad Boys.
Yeah. This game's hard with two people.
Okay, Bad Boys.
Oh, Bad Boys?
Yeah.
Okay. The original one, I guess I'll just go with Will Smith.
Men in Black.
Tommy Lee Jones.
No Country for Old Men.
Josh Brolin.
Doom Part 1.
Let's go Stellan Skarsgård.
The girl with the dragon tattoo.
Daniel Craig.
Casino Royale.
Casino Royale. Mads Mikkelsen.
A lot of foreign movies there.
Yeah. That's a bad pick for me.
No. Rogue One.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's him. Rogue One, Forrest Whitaker.
Ooh. Arrival.
Neo Ned.
What?
Oh, sorry, Jeremy Renner.
I
made 2 jumps. Yeah, he was the other one.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Hurt Locker.
Oh, Anthony Mackie.
What's that Christmas movie? Office Party? No. Is that what it's called?
The Last Night.
Oh, The Night Before?
Night Before. That's it. Night Before. Okay. Seth Rogen.
Knocked Up.
And Katherine Heigl.
She's in...
It's a lot harder to get a long run that I was expecting. I was expecting this was going to be easier.
Just back and forth. Not the bounty hunter. That's Jennifer Aniston. It's another one with Gerard Butler.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're thinking of. It's about he's a news broadcaster or something like that, or like a Daily Show or something.
Yeah. What the fuck is that name? Gerard Depardieu.
Found out today that we're actually not movie fans.
No, we're not. I guess not. We are failures. The Ugly Truth.
Yeah,
That's the name of that movie. Gerard Butler, 300.
okay. Oh gosh, what's his name? Let's go Lena Headey.
Oh, Lena Headey. What? I don't know if I've seen her in any movies.
Alex Garland directed one unofficially.
Oh yeah, Dread.
Domhnall Gleeson.
Ooh. Is he in Force Awakens?
He's in a bunch of those, yeah.
Yeah. Is he in Force?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Let's end this right here. Daisy Ridley. Good luck.
She was in one recently.
Sure, but name it. Every movie I feel like she's been in since then have been super like non-memorable.
It's like I'm really sad movie.
That's what it's called, yeah, actually. I'm really sad, the movie.
Daisy Ridley. What the fuck was it? It was like, the Marsh King's daughter.
Man, we next time we play this, we need to have Tyler here.
Yeah, I think we did play it once, and we always got stuck on him.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think what we did was we picked an artist or an actor, and then we named their catalog, like movies from their catalog.
maybe.
I mean, it's been 5 years. We very well could have played both versions of that game. That was fun.
All right, let's get into some stream picks now.
Oh my gosh, you sprung that on me real quick.
Come on now.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Stream picks, movies that we watched on our streaming services so that you can watch or not watch whatever you want as well. Pete.
I'm going to say you should watch all the movies that I watched this week.
Okay.
They're all good. The first one is it's a Christmas Carol. It's a version of A Christmas Carol, the classic Charles Dickens story with Ebenezer Scrooge and Bob Cratchit. Yeah, Bob Cratchit, Tiny Tim, and the rest.
Tiny Tim Cratchit.
Yeah, and
Rizzo.
And yeah, Rizzo the Rat. Michael Caine's there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows who he plays? And then the Ghosts of Christmas, Past, Present, and Future.
Yeah.
But huge point of contention in the trivia community. How many ghosts visit Ebenezer Scrooge on that fateful night?
Well, you have the first ghost who announces that he's going to get visited by 3 ghosts.
Yes, there's 4 officially. Yeah. But depending on who's running the trivia night that night, I've heard it 3 and 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, in the Muppets, there's 5. Because you have the 2 guys. The critics.
Yeah, it's Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So in this version, it's just called if you're looking it up on IMDb or Letterboxd, it's called FX's A Christmas Carol. Because it's made by FX and it was a 4-part miniseries.
Oh.
4 episodes. You can watch it though on Hulu straight through. and it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long or something crazy like that.
Of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, because it's 4 episodes.
Is each episode a ghost?
You'd like to think so.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't think so though. I think they put 2 into 1 at some point. But yeah, if it's, I'm trying to see how long it shows on here. If it actually shows the length of it as one continuous thing, because I want to say it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes or almost 3 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
But here, listen to the cast on this. Guy Pearce as Ebenezer Scrooge. Andy Serkis as the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Wow.
Stephen Graham, the aforementioned, as Jacob Marley. Joe Alwyn, don't know him. Jason Fleming is in it. Johnny Harris, Kevin Novak, Callum Evans. A lot of people you'd recognize and may not know their name, but this is a very dark and gruesome version.
Oh.
There's
like scary, kind of?
Yes, this is a gothic horror version. And I don't know if this is more true to the original story, Dickens' story or not, but when you think of Ebenezer Scrooge and like the Muppets Christmas Carol, because that's the one that I always go back to, you're like, oh, he's kind of a dick. But he doesn't deserve to like die or
Scrooge?
whatever. Yeah, Scrooge.
Yeah, he's just a greedy
He's
asshole.
just a greedy dickhead and, makes people work on Christmas Eve. It's like, I got to work on Christmas Eve. All my people at work got to work on Christmas Eve. It's like that far-fetched to work on Christmas Eve anymore.
No, I mean, you might get a half day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, probably might be a half day.
But he does ask them to come in on Christmas.
He does. So that's the extent of it. In this version, it shows the gritty and gruesome details of how the budget cuts that Scrooge and Marley, as a business partner duo, their budget cuts of cutting down on timber in the mines that they own led to a collapse and death of dozens of people, dozens of ponies.
Okay.
And the mourning of the deaths of these children working in the mines and women and families crumbled because of them, and they faced no repercussions. At one point, Andy Serkis's Marley, Jacob Marley, is in hell. He's in hell.
He's in hell.
And he's shackled with the chain, which he's classically, shackled with chains.
Yeah.
And the Grim Reaper, the Satan or whatever, basically goes,
Satan?
He says, he's like, every link on the chain is a soul that you cursed during your life. And you're like, fuck me, man, that's rough.
Damn.
Like, there's a scene when he appears to him for the first time where he's missing a jaw. Like, Ebenezer Scrooge finds this loose, disembodied human jaw on the ground of his chamber, and he picks it up and is like, oh, shit. And then the ghost puts it back into his mouth, his tongue's flopping around. He puts it back up into his skull.
Is this a live action?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's really, really intense.
Welcome to Ultra Hell.
Yeah, exactly. So, this is a really, really good take on it. So, if Muppets Christmas Carol is like the
wholesome,
lawful, good, wholesome, warm and fuzzy version, this is
the opposite.
Fucking way opposite. It's really good.
Oh. And Jim Carrey's the unhinged sort of version of it.
That's the one if you have schizophrenia, if you watch that. Yeah. But yeah, you can watch that.
Although Scrooge is also pretty unhinged.
Yeah, Scrooge is pretty good. And he's more of a shithead. He cheats on his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and maybe he's fooling around.
It sounds
with
like
other people.
this version of the
Christmas Carol.
The FX version of Christmas Carol. Who plays Scrooge?
Guy Pearce.
Oh, Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
Did they put him in old makeup again?
No.
Okay.
No. He's the same age the whole time.
So he's he's responsible essentially for multiple deaths in a mine.
Multiple deaths.
Damn.
And it's implied that he was molested as a child.
Oh my God.
Repeatedly, systematically. That was a bartered deal from his father. He basically pimped his son out as a 10-year-old to the boarding house that he basically stayed in for free boarding. He basically said, oh yeah, make my kid stay here because I don't want to deal with him. And by the way, go ahead and rape him a bunch so that I don't have to pay. And it's like that. The whole thing is laid out. So much like we were talking about how Cruella got a backstory and made her, understandable. It's like that's his backstory. He's such a piece of shit because he was systematically abused as a child. And it's it's really dark. I mean, it gets even darker than that too.
Jesus.
Yeah. So Tiny Tim is played by an actual disabled child.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's I've seen him in other stuff before. He looks like he might just have dwarfism, but it could be something else along with it, you know? I know sometimes with like hyperdwarfism where they're very, very small, there's some medical ailments. I learned about it in this documentary we watched called Tiptoes. But this kid is an actor and he plays a lot of, you know, similar parts, but having Tiny Tim as a actually disabled child was effective, and he does not do well in the movie.
Oh, you got Stephen Graham in there as well?
Yes. It's a great cast, and it's so brooding and dark. The visions are actually terrifying.
Oh, yeah. I've seen this kid too.
Yeah.
Lenny Rush is his name.
That's a name? Yeah, so it's really good. I highly recommend people. I mean, obviously, don't put this on Christmas morning to like have a fun Christmas day.
It's very cheerful.
Yeah, but maybe that's the tone you want on Christmas Day. Who knows? You know, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
But Brianna wanted to watch a gothic horror, and we were just stumbling around through Hulu, and she found that, and she's like, 3 hours long. All right, I'll watch it. And yeah, it was really good. I watched it along with her. I had to leave the room for a little bit, so I missed a little bit in the middle.
It was too much for you.
Yeah. I had to leave. I had to go cry. Excuse myself for a cry. Let's see how long it actually is.
There's actually, I just pulled it up on, each episode is 43 minutes.
Okay.
On IMDb, it lists 43 minutes. It doesn't say the total runtime. Let's see.
2 hours, 52 minutes.
Okay. So yeah, nearly 3 hours.
Yeah.
There is a Patrick Stewart Christmas Carol as well.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard about that.
It's got a 7.4 out of 10. So it's got Patrick Stewart, Richard E. Grant,
cool,
Joel Grey, Ian McNeice. Yeah.
Well, don't watch that one. Watch the FX one.
It's a lot of Christmas carols.
Yeah, exactly. It took me forever to find it on Letterboxd. I'm like, well, I guess they're not going to let me log it because it's a miniseries. But then it's listed as FX's. I'd go into search Guy Pearce, and find it that way.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so my next streaming pick is from 2010, a movie very early on in Jennifer Lawrence's career, which basically got a lot of people to notice her as a fantastic actor. Winter's Bone.
More like Winter's Boner. You know
Winter's Bone Temple. Yeah. It's streaming on Fubo, Kanopy, Paramount Plus, and Plex. We watched it on Paramount Plus, and this is a very cold movie.
Winter.
You would imagine. I don't know what the name means. They don't really talk about it. They don't like reference it.
It truly is a Winter's Bone.
Yeah, they don't do that.
It's not like a murder mystery type of movie.
So I'll read the synopsis because I didn't know anything about it going in. I went in blind, and it was good. I don't think that knowing the plot will make it any worse, though. After discovering her father put their house up for his bail bond and then disappeared, a 17-year-old R-E-E, Dolly must confront the local criminal underworld and the harsh Ozark wilderness in order to track down her father and save her family. So this is set in the Ozarks. It's a modern movie, and it's a good portrayal of the depressed and run-down society and culture within the Ozarks. People living in the mountains, parents abandoning children, multiple children in the house. They're just living in a house that they built with their own hands in the mountains, freezing. Everybody's got Carhartts and flannel shirts, and you know everybody's got livestock. They're shooting squirrels and eating them. You know, it's a brutal kind of like, it almost feels like one step before the road, maybe two steps before the road. You know, they're out there just raw dogging life. And Jennifer Lawrence's character, her name is Ree. She's got two young siblings. Her mom is basically, I don't know if she had like a mental breakdown or like fried her brain with drugs or something like that, but she's basically, she can feed herself and walk around and stuff like that, but she doesn't talk, and she's kind of in a catatonic sort of state. And her dad is a meth cook, criminal, in and out of jail, and the lawman, played by Garrett Dillahunt, comes over and is like, "Hey, your dad's out on bail. Did you hear?" Like, I don't give a fuck. Why are you telling me? Well, he put your house up for the bond, which means if he skips this court hearing, we got to come take the house. And it's just a fucking shack with three kids in it and basically a paralyzed mom. And they're like, "So your dad better make this court hearing, because you guys are going to be homeless. You're going to be living out on the mountain." And she's like, "Well, what the fuck? how's that fair? Like, it's his house. Even though you live here, it's his house. So it's his right to put that up for bond. And the entire mission is her trying to find her deadbeat dad and basically make sure he makes his court case.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets nefarious. It gets into some dark areas. So
yeah,
this also has John Hawkes' second build on it. He's always great. Dale Dickey's in it. She's the tweaker meth head from Breaking Bad with the ATM.
Yeah.
Isaiah Stone, Lauren Sweetster, Ashley Thompson, Valerie Richards. And there's a lot of people in this that are locals. They don't have IMDb credits. They don't have IMDb photos. They're just locals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really, I don't know how accurate it is, but man, it feels pretty authentic. The kind of depressed nature of that life.
Yeah.
So that's Winter's Bone. It is streaming again on Fubo, Kanopy, Paramount Plus, and Plex. And Jennifer Lawrence, I can understand why she kept getting work after this, because she's phenomenal. She's holding her own with John Hawkes and some like really well-established and well-known actors, and just feels right at home. And then my last one is Carry On. You want to talk about that one together?
Sure. Yeah.
Then we could do that together, and then you could do yours.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Carry On from 2024. This is a new Netflix movie. It is directed by Jean Colette Serra, who also directed Black Adam, Orphan, House of Wax, Jungle Cruise, The Shallows, The Commuter, and Nonstop.
Action-y movies,
and Jungle Cruise, which I guess is also pretty action-y.
Yeah.
So this is starring Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
Sophia Carson, Daniel Deadweiler, Theo Rossi, Logan Marshall Green.
Hello, Bruce.
Dean Norris. Hey, what's up, Bruce?
Welcome to the chat.
Cinqua Walls, Jason Bateman, and a couple other people you might recognize. So every holiday season, millions travel safely by air. This Christmas will be different. An airport security officer races to outsmart a mysterious traveler, forcing him to let a dangerous item slip onto a Christmas Eve flight. It's a Netflix original, I think.
Straight to Netflix.
To Netflix, whatever. And it's a thriller action holiday.
Yeah, mostly thriller with like a surge of action in like one specific scene. I think.
Like a suspense thriller or like a bottle thriller sort of thing, because it all takes place in an airport and then under an airport.
Yeah.
And then on the tarmac of the airport.
Yeah. And then in an airplane.
Yeah. And I feel like this is like a cross between Die Hard and The Rock, in the sense with a little bit of, because he's working. What was the other one? It was there was another movie that reminded me of this where he's being held. Oh, Grand Piano. It's I want to say it's a Danny Boyle movie also, where Elijah Wood is a concert pianist, and John Cusack basically says, "I'm a sniper. I'm up in the eaves. You got to do what I say." While he's playing the piano, and he's like in his ear saying what he has to do or something like that.
I've never heard of this movie.
It's weird. I've streamed a picture like 4 years ago.
2013.
It's a small movie, but basically this terrorist is in Taron Egerton's ear in an ill earpiece.
Yeah.
And he's working the X-ray conveyor belt, and he basically says, if you don't let this package through onto the plane, I'm going to kill your wife or your soon-to-be wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the plot of the whole movie. What do you do after that, and what happens?
Yeah. How do you go from there?
Yeah.
And honestly, it reminded me a lot of like Die Hard is obvious comparison, I think.
Yeah.
But also Phone Booth.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Where it just happens to be, I think in Phone Booth, it was targeted for Colin Farrell's character, almost like a Jigsaw type of thing. And then it sounds like in Grand Piano, it sounds like he was targeting Elijah Wood specifically.
Yeah, there was a treasure or something that I can't even remember this exactly.
But in this, Taron Egerton's character ends up being he wasn't supposed to be the target.
Yeah, they had somebody else in mind, and he stepped in because he wanted to get a promotion, so he asked to go on the conveyor instead of wherever else he was going to go.
Yeah, and we have Isaac Schrader as his boss.
Mm-hmm.
And
Dean Norris himself.
This movie was like, it was compelling. Yep. Like it was engaging a lot. I think definitely in the first 2/3. I think the last act kind of fell off just a little bit, but it was still like kind of like tense and exciting. And I liked Jason Bateman. I liked his character quite a bit. He was just kind of like an unassuming, like evil guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Almost like a third party.
It's like a gun for hire.
Yeah, he's just like a mercenary. He just does stuff for money, even if it is at the cost of, hundreds of lives. And I feel like the plot was simple enough. It wasn't like heavy lifting whatsoever. It wasn't confusing. It wasn't convoluted or complicated for the sake of being like complicated, or trying to be higher than thou. It was just kind of like a dumb fun kind of thriller movie, and I had a good time with it.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah,
kept me engaged. I personally like Edgerton. I think he's good.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people just don't particularly care for him. I think he gets lumped in with Ansel Elgort. They both kind of came around at the same time and got weird names, and people seem to not like him for some reason.
I think it's like, I feel like he wants to be like a serious actor, but something about his like personality, and I think it's probably part of it is from the Kingsman movies.
Yeah,
is that he was just he was in that movie, and his role was like like everybody underestimated him, almost like he was like an underdog, and but he was kind of like comedic in that movie, so it would be kind of hard.
He was like clever. He was like a clever hero.
Yeah, and it was kind of hard to take him. It would be hard to take him seriously in a serious drama or a serious like a James Bond type of role or something.
Sure.
So I feel like this type of movie where like John McClane, he's just kind of like a
every man who gets it done.
Yeah, and he's like
Edgerton was
clever asshole,
He was Eddie the Eagle, and then he also had Kingsman, and then he did Rocketman.
Yeah,
so it's like three kind of goofy movies. Like there's some action maybe in a little bit and some pathos, but always goofy.
Yeah, and in this movie, he's not like a skilled fighter or anything like that. No. He's just a TSA agent who has dreams of being a cop.
Yeah, like Paul Blart.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's the goal? You want to be a cop?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not really rooting for you, but there's a little bit more value, I think, in a TSA agent.
You think so?
I mean, I don't know. They're both government.
I think the TSA agents are basically useless. I think something happened a long time ago, pre 9/11.
Yeah,
and like now all the things that happen are quote unquote supposed to protect us, but is basically just a huge inconvenience to most people.
Yeah,
and is it protecting us? I don't know. I would love to like hear more about like something was thwarted. Hey, all this shit we've been having to do for the last 20 something years, it's working.
Has there been any plane hijacking since 9/11? Because
has there been any before?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
I'm not a historian.
All I know is I can't go to the gate terminal anymore to drop one of my family off.
I mean, unless you go through security.
And no, you can't go without a ticket.
Do you have to have a boarding pass?
Yeah, they won't let you through without a ticket.
I could have sworn they did. I don't know. It could vary on.
I'm just being a cynical dick.
No, I mean, it's annoying. It's annoying as hell to go through security.
Yeah.
Like it is.
I want there to be security on the plane. I just want to make sure like what they're doing actually makes sense.
I gotta take my shoes off.
Yeah. What's the point of the shoes? I went through actually 2 airports within the last few years where they didn't require the shoes off.
I've done that once, but it was a really small airport.
And I'm like, oh, fuck.
They're like, no, don't take your shoes off. You can just walk through.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Laptop out or in?
The laptop thing, I'm pretty sure that's a universal thing. At least with major airports.
I've had some where they leave them in the bag.
Really?
It's super weird. So anyways, what'd you think overall?
Overall, I mean, I would totally I would watch it again for sure. It was fun. It was dumb. It was engaging. It was thrilling. Jason Bateman was good. I liked their banter. I liked the little hints of Edgerton's character, figuring stuff out. when he first sees him,
the sound of the crunching on the ice or whatever,
like who he's talking to.
Yeah, that was good.
But it was, it was that thing of of him trying to sneak, the watch, the phone, trying to communicate with somebody.
Yeah.
and that guy, the guy in the van who had access to the cameras.
Yeah.
And like he's always seeing it at the right time.
Yes. He's looking right at the watch.
Yeah. And then the first like big when he kills the first guy, like the first victim of his actions.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you see what happens, Larry?
Yeah, pretty much.
But it was good. I liked it.
Cool. Nice.
It was enjoyable. It wasn't like, did it change cinema?
Yeah.
No.
Bruce says this is a 3-star banger, and on Cinematics, that's basically a classification for this movie. It's a really great version of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing to write home about. But if you are getting into a movie that's basically this action thriller set inside an airport on Christmas Day or whatever,
Christmas Eve,
yeah, and it's a guy in an earpiece, you know,
yeah,
calling the shots. You're like, okay, I know what kind of movie that is. And this is a great version of it. Maybe the best version of it or close to it, you know, just a high quality version of that. That's a 3-star banger. So,
yeah. And the people were like saying it on social media. It's like better than Die Hard.
Yeah. Joel messaged me and said, I hope you guys are talking about Carry On this week because everybody's saying, or people are saying,
Hell yeah.
it's better than Die Hard. I was like, no, I can't imagine that would be the case. And it's definitely not.
I mean, like, they're both cops. But like one is arguably better than
for sure.
the other one for sure.
Yeah.
It's just like one is more modern and different setting. Die Hard 2 takes place in an airport. Isn't that around Christmas as well?
I think they're all around Christmas.
Die Hard 3, is that around Christmas? I think that's summertime.
I'll say that the things I liked about it that kind of stood out was it's a really polished looking film because when they show like the cell phone screen, it's like this CG image, almost like and it's kind of moving around with the movement of the phone.
It's a non-diegetic phone screen.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And it's like,
it's for us. If
it was a future movie, that would be, everybody would see that. But just for us, for the audience, we see the screen and it's kind of moving with the phone. I thought it was a great effect. Yeah. The X-ray machine being able to do what it did, I think was super goofy.
Yeah.
It like goes in and you can like move things around on the screen. You're like, this is like Minority Report shit.
I know. Are they really capable of doing that?
I think Brianna asked me that. She's like, is that how X-ray machines are?
Well, because even even when it was just like pointing out like threat, this is a threat.
It might do something like that. I think it just
is it that advanced?
I don't know. So that was goofy. Bruce says he was laughing at the laser sight scene with the sniper.
The laser sight.
The red dots on her head.
Yeah.
And it's like, just
that's a trope.
Yeah, it is. Just tackle her. Just knock her to the ground. Say there's a sniper.
Yeah.
You know, that's the threat is to kill his woman,
girlfriend,
and she's here. Just say there's a threat. They're gonna kill you. I'm gonna put you in another room. They have no other leverage here besides you. So you know, or he could say I'm gonna kill a random person.
Yeah,
and then the threat is the same essentially, but has less personal effect. But
I like the reveals of like the other people involved.
Yeah, that was good.
And the plastic gun was kind of an interesting little addition to the whole thing.
Yeah, that was actually pretty sad, the whole like second hostage part of it.
Yeah.
The bag carrier.
Yeah.
So I won't say anything more than that, but there's some good reveals. I wouldn't call them twists per se, but I would say this is a movie that would be great. So if you consider yourself like a movie buff, a movie fan, and you just watch a ton of movies, you listen to movie podcasts or whatever, you're our core audience, basically.
Yeah.
But you want to recommend a movie to someone who may not be as hardcore of a movie fan. They're just very casual and they just want something entertaining on a Friday night. This would be a really safe thing to recommend to somebody.
Yeah.
That's what I think about it.
Yeah. There was one thing. Oh, there's a sequence in a car.
Oh God,
that was like, it looks like conceptually, it looks really cool, like the shot itself, but it's kind of like a CGI fest. But the shot itself, as it is, like the concept of it is really cool.
Yeah,
it's just like the execution of it. It's like
I simultaneously impressed and also cringing at that scene.
Yeah,
there was some really good stuff for there and some just kind of wonky stuff.
Yeah,
so, turn your brain off a little bit and you'll really have fun with it.
You'll have a good time.
Yeah. So let's Carry On Netflix. Watch it. Great Christmas Christmas movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just as much of a Christmas movie as Die Hard is, right?
Exactly.
Does Die Hard take place on Christmas Eve?
Yeah. They're at the Christmas party.
That's right.
Nakatomi Plaza. All right, that's all I got.
All right, cool. So my stream picks for the week. Start with the worst one that I watched. This is streaming on Netflix. This is The Happy Time Murders.
Oh.
And I was so disappointed to see that Brian Henson directed this.
Really?
Of the Henson family.
That's so weird.
The same director as Muppets Christmas Carol.
It's Jim's son, right?
Yes. I was very, very disappointed. It's almost like they saw how well Team America did, or how much people liked it, at least. And like, well, I could do my version of that with my genre of puppetry. And it just doesn't work.
They took all the wrong things away from Team America.
And it's not funny. It's just like raunchy for the sake of being raunchy. Like there's like puppet porn. Like,
I heard there's puppet jism.
Yeah. And but they know that they are puppets and are filled with stuffing and that they don't have any bones or anything.
That's interesting.
They know that they are puppets in the universe of this movie. And Melissa McCarthy is also in it. She plays like a cokehead cop.
What's the human to puppet ratio characters?
I feel like it's mostly puppets. So it's just starring Melissa McCarthy, the humans, Melissa McCarthy, Elizabeth Banks, Maya Rudolph, Michael McDonald, and then the rest are puppets. Jimmy O Yang is in it. It's like a detective movie. It takes place in LA, and they're just trying to find who is killing all of these puppets who I think were all on this show, like this old show, like similar to the Muppets. And the show was like called The Happy Time something. And all the characters of the cast of that show are being killed off by somebody. And they're just trying to figure out who it is. It's
like a noir? Or it's trying to be,
I guess, but it's just like a high key. It's like a high key comedy.
Got it.
Basically what it is, with puppets and Melissa McCarthy.
Okay.
And it's just not funny at all.
That's
really.
a bummer.
Yeah. I mean, the puppetry is puppetry. It's cool to see, but that's not worth your time.
Sure.
So that's streaming on Netflix. Don't watch it. Movie that I revisited for the first time in a long time. Streaming on Tubi and Amazon Prime. This is Ready to Rumble.
Oh.
Ready to Rumble, starring David Arquette, Chris Owen, Oliver Platt, Rose McGowan, Joe Pantoliano, actual wrestlers, Bill Goldberg, Sting makes a cameo, John Cena, I don't remember seeing him in there, Booker T is in it at one point, and this is basically about two dudes who work in plumbing, who are huge, like it's like their entire life is wrestling.
Okay.
Like WWE or WCW in this universe. And one of their favorite wrestlers who is the King, Jimmy the King, he
played by Oliver Platt. Wow. He's the wrestler. Okay.
Yeah. And have you seen this?
No.
Oh,
I don't know anything about this.
It's a silly little comedy that I've watched as a kid, and it's fun. So like basically Joe Pantoliano plays the like Vince McMahon character, like he's the owner of the WCW.
Got it. Okay.
And Jimmy the King is a wrestler who they are conspiring against to get out of the WCW because he is like the ruling.
Sure.
He's like the fan favorite.
Okay.
And they just want him to get out of there, basically.
All right.
And so they conspire against him in the wrestling match. They actually start, like beating him up in the beginning of the movie. And then Joe Pantoliano comes down and is like, Jimmy the King will never wrestle in the WCW again. And they basically force him to quit or they fire him. And then the two fans, David Arquette and Scott Kahn, they go on a mission to find him, Jimmy the King, and get his redemption.
Okay.
And he goes and trains with Martin Landau, I believe.
Yeah, it's Martin Landau.
and he's like this obviously old man, but he can fight really well.
Okay.
And so he trains the king, who is like an alcoholic, like slob at this point. And he's like from the South, so he's kind of like a dumb hick,
Okay.
a little bit. It's just like a silly, fun comedy, like road trip kind of movie at the same time.
Okay. Who plays the counterpart? David Arquette and who else are the two plumbers?
Scott Conn. Scott Conn.
Yeah.
I
like him. The few movies I've seen him in, I like him.
Yeah, and it's definitely like part road trip movie, part like redemption, revenge type movie, because it all culminates into like a cage match at the end for the king, Jimmy the King, to get his belt back.
This is directed by Brian Robbins, who did Good Burger, Varsity Blues, Hardball, The Shaggy Dog, and Norbit.
Interesting collection of movies.
Yeah, and it was written by Stephen Brill, who wrote Mighty Ducks 1 and 2, Heavyweights, D3 again, Little Nicky, and Ready to Rumble.
Oh, nice. Very
weird
comedy
concoction.
writer. Yeah. And I watched a bunch of Christmas movies, National Lampoon's Vacation, White Christmas, How the Grinch, Jingle All the Way.
I hate National Lampoon's Christmas.
It's not the best.
I hate all of that Chevy Chase National Lampoon movies, Vacations.
Really?
All those vacation movies, I hate them.
Why? Is it Chevy Chase?
All of it. I don't like any of it.
Really?
None of it.
Why?
Not one bit. It made me laugh.
Oh, just because you don't think it's funny?
No. It's a comedy that's not funny.
I think that of the vacation movie, I haven't seen all of them, but like Vegas Vacation was the one I watched the most. And that one is the funniest one that I've watched.
Vegas Vacation.
Yeah, because he goes to a casino that it doesn't exist, but like it's like stupid games where it's like, what's behind my back?
Oh,
or like which hand is the quarter in?
To be fair, I've only seen them when I was a kid, and some of them I haven't even seen all the way through, just because I couldn't stand.
Vacation is the first one, just Vacation, where they
National
go to
Lampoon's Vacation,
where they go to like a
movie world or whatever it's called.
Theme park, and then Vegas Vacation is a later one. Christmas Vacation and Vegas Vacation are the better ones in my opinion. Although Christmas Vacation is not that funny. It's like it's boomer humor for sure.
Yeah.
But it's the other characters that kind of make it funny.
I think Randy Quaid as Cousin Eddie is a great character. I will 100% admit he is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he's memorable.
Yeah.
Kevin's in the chat. He says Van Wilder is the best National Lampoon movie. 100%. It's a shame that it even has the name on it. It's not. I'm only talking about the Chevy Chase.
I've never looked into
movies.
National Lampoon is. It's like a magazine or something.
It started out as a periodical for Harvard or MIT or something like that.
MIT?
No, Harvard or Stanford. One of those. It was like a college, the National Lampoon. And then they became a comedy group, and then it became a whatever, and they started doing movies and bigger. They're still around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they're still making these, I think, kind of shitty comedies now.
Yeah.
So I won't go into those Christmas movies. I did watch Adult Swim's Yule Log.
Oh, the second one or the first one?
First one.
Okay.
And at first I was like, is it just a Yule Log? But then like, because it starts like that.
Yeah.
And it turns into like, the subtitles were on and it said like vehicle approaching, footsteps approaching. And I'm like, have you seen these?
I've seen the first one.
And what it is, you have to be a little bit patient.
Yeah.
For the first like 10, 15
takes a
minutes. While. And then it turns out like the camera widens. Or no, first there's like a murder. You see something happening in the foreground, but it's very obscured because it's very close up to the Yule log. And so a murder happens basically.
Yes.
And then after that, the camera widens. The killers go hide somewhere and hide the body that they killed, and you see more of the living room. And it ends up being like this, like it's a couple, and the guy, as a side hustle, he films Yule logs for YouTube, which is really funny.
Yeah, because somebody had to do it.
Yeah, somebody has to do these. 10 hours of Yule log.
I should put it on the channel. Put it on the YouTube channel.
And it's a very Adult Swim for sure.
Yeah,
it turns into a like a supernatural horror movie. It's kind of slasher. Nothing's more like that's not no one's being slashed really. It's more like they're being pounded by a log. Heyo. And it's definitely silly. Doesn't take itself very seriously, but it is very bloody. It gets very bloody, and it was entertaining.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't know what to expect. I only heard about this because of the second one.
Yeah, and for those who don't know what the whole U-log thing is, first of all, you're living under a rock. That's okay, no judgment. But
You're living under a log.
you're living under a U-log. It's a basically just a fireplace. It's a static video shot. It's a trend where you can, instead of having a fireplace running, you just put it on your TV and you go on YouTube, 10 hours of U-log.
Yeah.
And you just play it throughout Christmas. And if you have YouTube Pro or Red or whatever the hell it's called, you can get it with no ads.
Yeah.
But still, you're watching basically just an uncut video of a Yule log with the crackling fire and everything. And it's great ambiance. And it's a fucking great concept because the first like 5-6 minutes is just a log.
Yeah.
So if you don't know any better, I'm assuming they wanted to trick some people.
Maybe.
Like, just hopefully some people got tricked into watching it. Like, oh, it's the Adult Swim Yule log. I'll watch them rather than the Hallmark one, just to give Adult Swim my money for advertising time or whatever.
Yeah.
And they put it on, and 10 minutes in, you're like, what ungodly thing are we watching?
Yeah. It goes from you're watching a Yule log to like you're inside the Yule log talking to like some like paranormal demon guy from the 50s or the 40s or whatever. Because like the first guy shows like it's like a combined with like a cabin slasher camper movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like we booked the same place at the same time. And
This is the second one now?
no, this is the first one.
See, I gotta rewatch it. I don't remember half of these things you're talking about.
Because the couple books the cabin, and then this group of like younger people show up, and they're like, "Oh, I booked it on Airbnb. Oh, I booked it on this website." So they didn't take it off of either one.
Yeah.
So now it's double booked, and now this couple is hanging out with these like potheads or stoners, and the major stoner, he gets tricked into he thinks he's just like seeing stuff or like hallucinating because he's on an edible, and
that's what happens when you're on an edible.
Yeah, you see stuff.
Yeah.
But no, he crawls into the fireplace and then he watches the guy like shows him his past basically, and it's really weird. It's very Adult Swim, and but it's enjoyable, and it's streaming on Max. Both of them, Yule Log and Yule Log 2, branching out.
Do you watch the second one?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, I don't know if Deanna liked the first one enough.
That's like I gotta do it when she's not home.
Yeah. I gotta do it during the holiday season.
Yeah.
That's a holiday Christmas horror movie. That's a comedy as well, because it is over the top in terms of the violence. And then my last one is I watched it via Mystery Science Theater. It's like a Mystery Science Theater Christmas special.
Okay.
That came out in 2022. They had like the old host, had the newer host.
Oh, cool.
Streaming on Prime and Tubi. The Christmas Dragon.
Oh, interesting. Never heard of that one.
Yeah, I mean,
I love MST3K. I'm surprised I never heard of that.
Yeah, and not the best MST3K in my opinion. In terms of like the jokes and stuff.
Sure.
You have like Patton Oswalt and Felicia Day as like the
interstitials.
Yeah, the people who like kidnap them. Yeah. And then you have Jonah and I can't remember the old guy, like older guy's name.
Joel or Mike? There's two of them.
I think it's Joel.
Joel's there. Okay.
Or maybe I don't know. But yeah,
Mike's the taller, thinner one. He's a little bit more like looks more like I don't know. Joel is like shorter, kind of dumpy looking.
But anyway,
in comparison,
not the best MST3K in terms of like their catalog.
Yeah.
There's funnier episodes. It's kind of like a host jamboree. There's like a bunch of hosts.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But it's a special. So, and that's on Prime and Tubi if you are interested.
Cool. But
yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Sounds good. We got a lot of fun stuff for everybody to watch.
Yeah.
Yule Log, Carry On, FX. FX is Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And what do you think your biggest recommend is?
Probably Yule Log.
From Yule Log.
Or Ready to Rumble if you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. Maybe I'll dip in.
Yeah, just a silly comedy.
I'm not a big fan of like wrestling stuff, so who knows? All right, cool. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. It is Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. If you want to support us on the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or just watch and listen on the YouTube page. That helps too. Until next time. Thank you for joining us as we gab and chatter sans Tyler today. Follow us later on in the week on Christmas Day when we review Paul Blart Mall Cop, a Christmas present for all ages. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And leave us a voicemail at 209-283-1716. Follow us on Twitter at PodcastMCFC and on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, as well as Instagram.
Yeah, that's right. All those places. Some of them get updated, some of them not so much.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
See ya. That's what I call my bedroom.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later. See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.